Revenge films.
Chaos happened at the wedding of a devoted groom, Grayson, and my cousin/best friend, Bridget the bride. The bride and groom have been together since high school, and their parents had also had a good relationship with each other. Both of them are good looking, and they are a picture-perfect couple. What's more is that they both have wonderful personalities, and I love them so much. Bridget and I have another cousin, and her name is Cruella. Little did we know that she was planning to ruin Chase and Bridget's wedding. Cruella and I are the same age, and whenever we're alone together, she keeps on talking behind people's backs. Bridget the bride is very beautiful, but she used to get low scores on tests when we were in high school. So every time Bridget gets a low score during a test, Cruella would go to Bridget and say,
"All you have is beauty but no brains. You're always thinking about boys. That's why you're so dumb."
Cruella disrespected Bridget like that. By the way, I was way smarter than Cruella, so she didn't disrespect me like that, but Cruella was probably just jealous of Bridget. Grayson and Bridget have been in a relationship for a long time now, and he joins family gatherings a lot, so I was very happy when I learned that they were getting married. When the wedding was finalized, the groom came with us when Bridget tried the wedding dress on. As for the food to be served at the reception, the groom, bride, and I chose what to serve. That is why, on the day before the wedding, I couldn't sleep because I was so excited. That is how much I looked forward to the biggest event of their lives. Then, on the day of the wedding, the bride and groom were in a very good mood from the start. However, Cruella got drunk and stood up from her seat. She marched down the aisle and headed straight to the bride.
You're lucky to be married when you have an empty brain. You're dumb, so you probably seduced Grayson, didn't you? Poor Grayson, he fell into your trap. White doesn't look good on you at all. The color looks better on me. Grayson will probably look better wearing the dress than you.
This might sound offensive, but Grayson has a very pretty face. Cruella kept on walking around and spouting out insults loudly. The happy couple on one of the most important days of their lives. Cruella's face doesn't look bad, and some might say she's pretty. But Bridget was more popular with the boys in the class, so I think that Cruella was very jealous even to this day. Bridget might have been popular, but she and Grayson were already in a relationship, so she didn't entertain the other boys in class. Grayson was also popular among the girls, so with all that, Cruella hates Bridget all the more and holds a grudge against her. Bridget actually didn't want to invite Cruella to her wedding, but since Cruella is part of the family, Bridget had no choice but to extend the invitation to Cruella. Before the wedding day, Bridget came to talk to me.
I have a really bad feeling about Cruella coming to this wedding.
Honestly, Bridget used to ignore Cruella with her annoying pestering, but Cruella didn't stop doing that, so Bridget kept on complaining to me about Cruella. Bridget was worried about Cruella ruining her wedding, but I was almost certain that Cruella wouldn't do anything crazy to this holy event. So when she marched to the front that moment, I got very nervous and panicked a bit. What in the world does she think she's doing? Seeing what was happening in front of them, everyone was horrified, and Bridget's parents went pale. Just when I was hoping for someone to stop Cruella, Bridget threw something back at Cruella. Then a blunt thud was heard, and screams and an angry voice reverberated through the reception hall. It seems like Bridget threw the microphone at Cruella. Cruella then crouched and winced in pain. The microphone that flew from the bride's hand onto Cruella's face fell to the floor and made several thuds as it rolled onto the carpet. Cruella was furious and raged.
What in the world are you doing? That is my line. I knew I shouldn't have invited you to this wedding.
Bridget and Cruella started pulling at each other's hair and quarreled. Their parents tried to stop them, but Cruella's face was bleeding and it was horrifying. After that, Bridget and Cruella were pulled onto the side, and Bridget's right dress was stained with blood, so she changed into a different dress. The guests were buzzing and whispering after the bride and groom, so Bridget's parents apologized on the behalf of their daughter and the groom. They said sorry to the guests, and after that, an ambulance arrived and Cruella was brought to the hospital. I later heard that her face got fractured. Cruella's mom was there at the wedding, and she was just as evil as her daughter. Even during the introduction of the family members at the church, she said, "I can't hear a thing. Could you please speak louder?" Cruella's mother jeered at Bridget. When Cruella bled after getting hit by a microphone, she went insane and followed her daughter to the hospital. But frankly speaking, everyone felt relieved that both Cruella and her mother were gone. Then after a while, the bride and groom appeared again in front of everyone after changing their clothes. No one was there to ruin their big day anymore, so the wedding ceremony continued without a hitch and ended successfully. However, a few days later, Cruella and her mother barged into Bridget's house and complained, "You ruined my daughter's face. What in the world were you thinking? I demand $50,000 in alimony for what you've done." She said that Cruella's face had a fracture, but it wasn't obvious at all, so she demanded $50,000. I thought for a moment whether she must get plastic surgery or something. Bridget might have overreacted and acted out of her senses, but Cruella ruined her wedding on top of all these years of pestering. So there is no doubt that Bridget had a lot of anger built up inside her. Of course, Bridget was very angry. Who in their right mind wouldn't be angry when their wedding was ruined? But instead of apologizing, Cruella and her mother demanded alimony. They even threatened to sue Bridget. However, the relatives, including my parents, came to stop them.
Get a hold of yourselves, you shameless pigs!
This is a result of you trying to ruin Bridget's wedding.
That's right. What did Bridget ever do to you? You're just resenting her without anything to resent her about.
The relatives shouted angrily. Even our grandparents joined in the fight.
Her face is fractured? What fracture? It's not noticeable at all! If you compare it to all the pestering that Cruella has done to Bridget, that's just a little scratch! If you bring any more trouble, and you keep on complaining about this, I will exclude you from the inheritance!
After my grandfather said that, Cruella and her mother fell silent. By the way, our grandfather owns plenty of land. That is why it is rumored that the inheritance will be quite huge. It's not like Bridget was especially loved and adored by our relatives and other grandparents, but they knew that Cruella and her mother kept on bullying Bridget, so they were aware that Bridget went through a lot of hardships because of Cruella and her mother. That is why everyone helped her. Bridget is a very good person who doesn't do anything problematic. That is why it is a mystery as to why Cruella hated her. That is why I'm sure that everyone was shocked with what happened at the wedding. They thought that Bridget must have a good reason to act that way. After that, Cruella and her mother barged into Bridget's house and said, "Look at you, what you've done to my daughter's face!" However, they wanted to inherit the money from the grandparents, so
Why would you pay me alimony when you ruined my face?
Cruella continued complaining, but her mother told her, "Cruella, just hold it in and shut up!"
Huh? Why would I shut up? My face is ruined, can't you see?
It's all your fault. You're now suffering from the consequences of your actions. Just be patient and shut up.
Why would you say that to me, Mom? Unbelievable!
Fast forward a couple years later, Bridget and Grayson lived happily ever after with their 3 children. By the way, as for Cruella, who still hadn't changed her personality, she still doesn't have a partner to this day. As for me, I got married too, but of course I didn't invite Cruella and her mother. I mean, my parents firmly refused to invite them.
I won't let them ruin your wedding too!
Well, such a conflict might have taken place, but we're relatives, so we see them during Thanksgiving and New Year, whether we want to or not. During those times, Cruella would say to Bridget,
I can't get married because you ruined my face. You should take responsibility for that.
Cruella kept on yelling and complaining, but our grandparents are still keeping a close eye on them. So Cruella's mother, who was afraid that she wouldn't inherit any wealth, would say, "Cruella, stop that! The reason why no one wants to marry you is because you have a bad attitude." I have to admit that it was laughable to watch them like that. I don't really like my aunt, but she had a really good point when she said that. She's right. Cruella probably won't get married in this lifetime if she doesn't change her attitude.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.